Let's see here. Alrighty, there we go, guys. Good morning on YouTube there. Alrighty, so we just filled in our Bank of America trade. We just sold that for a nice profit at $1.38 a contract. That was a nice trade there. Ephraim, we got filled at Bank of America at $1.38, and that puts us up. Let's see.
15% low volume stock.
That was a good gain right there. Guys, Google's starting to move higher off those lows there. That's going to be one I definitely want to take a look at for a possible day trade here. Really nice setup there. Let me make this screen a little bit larger for you guys. Alrighty, there we go. Google was getting a nice pop there. That was looking pretty good. Let me put on Bank of America over here so I can see what she's doing in case the financials decide to run again. Okay, Bank of America pulled back from those highs right there. Beautiful exit out of Bank of America so far. Continuing to retrace back down to that 10-day simple moving average. If you take a look at BAC here. Nice pullback from those highs where we sold at 931. So we'll keep an eye on that. Another one I wanted to take a look at here, guys, was BP. So you guys see how some of our larger trades here that we've been making have been those financials. Let's take a look here. What are they doing now? Let's see. Disney.
That's HTGM.
Let's see. Disney's up $1.20. Let's see what we're up here in the main account for today. Delta's down about 5 cents. Disney's having another big day though. Disney's up about $1.25. Got a nice gain on Disney and Delta today. Delta longer term Disney gains, or Delta longer term gains on the June 18th 45 call. Doing nicely on that. I wanted it to put on, let's see AMC. They're talking about that in the trade room there. AMC continuing to climb 737. Unfortunately, AMC, that looks good on a daily chart there. It held that, what did she held? She held right around $5 there, which wasn't too bad. Starting to climb. I could see $10 being a short-term target on AMC. Guys, take a look at Bank of America. What a beautiful trade that, pulling that in, locking in those profits at that 931. Here's where we locked in profits, 931, right around here. She had a quick pull back down to that 20-day simple moving average. Let's see if she starts to climb. If she does, we could look for a day trade back up to about 35.60, 35.70-ish. But right now, just sitting back, relaxing. We got the trade challenge account back up over 12,000. The past 3 days, the trade challenge account's been going higher from 11,642.46 to 12,148.63. We're just continuing to watch there for a good setup. The main account's doing really well. We're in big on Disney, Delta, Space. We have a BABA trade out there right now. We got 2 Delta trades out, one for the March 5th 46 strike. Looking pretty good here, guys.
EWSN, Dawson
I think I might
Geophysical,
lock
seeing
in
some
that
big
Delta
volume
trade
coming
for the
into
March
Delta
6th
Whiskey,
Expo that we have.
Sandy,
Let's see, we
November.
got a nice gain on that. Okay, so I'm going to lock in the profit we have on our other Delta trade here. Sell to close. It's going to be a limit order. Let's refresh quote. It's 219 by 268. Last at 272. Let's do a limit order of 2.50. See if she gets filled there. Preview order. Place trade. Let's see. View order here. And she's still open. So Delta's pulling back a little bit. So this shorter term March 5th Expo, I'll get rid of her, you know. Get rid of it and move on to the next one there. Let's see, 240 if we could get filled there. View order. Okay, that's still open. Delta's pulling back quite a bit right now, so I want to make sure I get rid of that. Lock in those profits on Delta. 225, let's see. We should get filled at 220 easily. I'll leave that go at 220. Alrighty, watching Bank of America. Guys, here's the other one I was looking at. I was trying to talk to you guys about before. British Petroleum. It's up about 10 cents for the day here. If you look at the 6-month daily chart, she's coming back from the highs right now that she opened up at. But this is another one that could have a really great resistance of at least 25 bucks, and she's at 23.73 right now. So 23.73 to that $25, that equals an extra $1.27 move higher. Okay, so now what I want to show you guys is if from 23.75 to our resistance areas of 25 is $1.27 higher. Let's take a look at the option chain here on BP and see what it is the best strike and best expiration date to go with here. Okay,
on
Bank of America starting to get a climb off those. Oh, let me redo that.
Beyond Meat.
Alrighty, so let's see BP. So if we're got about $1 now, $1.30 higher from where we want to see it at. So let's go with that March 19th. See what that 23 strikes going for. 23 strikes going for about $1.40. You know, and if we think it's going to get up to 25 here, that means that's going to be worth about $1.50 at Expo date. Or I'm sorry, this one, the 23 strike will be worth about $2 at Expo date. So 2 divide that by 1 point, what's she at now? 1.39. 2 divide that by 1.39. That'd be about a 44% gain if we picked up the March 19th 23 strike calls and look for that 25 target. Okay, so obviously our goal when we make a trade, we want to get it off the lows, coming off the lows, right? Well, as you guys could see here, British Petroleum still pulling back from those highs there, so it's not the right time to get in there just yet.
MST,
what
Tango,
we want
Michael,
to do
Sandy,
is
Tango.
take a look and see what's starting to move here. Bank of America is starting to move higher once again. Let me get this.
Steel, TMST.
Okay. Now, so see, here's BP on a today 1 minute. Still pulling back, still retracing. Not something you want to get into until you enter into that breakout momentum. Now, here's Bank of America starting to climb off those lows again. We sold right here at 931. She's starting to climb again. First candle above that 10, I might re-enter into Bank of America there. You know, Disney is up $3, guys. Disney, $195 a share. What a breakout on Disney. Let's see here.
HD Home Depot on their call said, as long as the COVID environment persists, we expect to incur about $250 million in COVID.
Disney trades 31% right now, looking great on Disney.
That's HD Home Depot.
Let's see here. Neo's at 42. Wow, what a pullback on Neo, huh? All right, Bank of America is starting to climb. Let's see if we want to do a weekly or something a little bit longer term there. So we had consolidation. We started breaking out. I could see a couple more days of a breakout here, but I'd rather go with next week's expo on Bank of America. So if we take a look here, option chains, we could jump back into that March 19th expo on BAC, or we could go out with the March, even the March 12th is probably a little cheaper here. Let's see. The 35.50, she's at 35.40 right now. 35.50 is going for about 84 cents. You know, 36 going for about 63 cents. 35 going for about $1.09. So 5, 6, 7. We need that at about 37 cents to make a 100% return. If we picked up that 35 strike, Bank of America's got a nice little doji going on right now. You know, that means indecision, but it's nice seeing it climb off those lows there. So I'm going to pick up the March 5th, I think, and pick up that 35 strike. That's pretty cheap there. I like that setup, you know, and we're going to have a strict stop on that, okay? So let's go with the March 12th just to be safe. 35 strike.
IEA says
35 strikes going for about $1.60. That's fine there. That's a beautiful setup there. So I'll pick up 20 contracts again, and we'll start off with 15. If she does well, we'll add another 15 contracts. So let's see if we can get filled at about $1.10 there. Buy to open, place trade, and we have an execution here, guys. We are executed. Bank of America, we are in at $1.10 a contract. Bid of $1.06, ask of $1.13. We are in March 12th, 35 strike call. We're in at $1.10 a contract. Okay, now she's got a bid of $1.10, ask of $1.13. So nice setup there on Bank of America. We'll hold that for at least a few days here. If we get another nice 1-2% pop there, we'll lock in those profits, move on. Bank of America is breaking out nicely here on the chart. There we go. We're already up $100 on that Bank of America trade, guys. Already up $100, $99.54. There we go, 130 bucks on the Bank of America trade, up about 8% right now. Continuing to climb, looking good there. Take a look at the Bank of America chart in the background, now up 140 bucks on BAC. And here goes BAC on a today 1 minute. So Bank of America climbing right back up to that 35.60. I told you guys first green candle above that 10 was going to be our entry. We entered, we're in, and now we got a nice climb going on Bank of America. We're up about 110 bucks on that trade now. And continuing to climb. So that is looking good there on Bank of America. Bringing that trade challenge account. We'll see if we can get that back up to 13 today or tomorrow. And then we'll be shooting for new all-time highs on the trade challenge account. Meanwhile, the main account there is doing extremely well.
SHIP Synergy says
and we'll be
daily
continuing
rates of
to
more
add
than
to those
100%
longer-term
premium
trades there.
over the last 5-year average in January, February.
All right, let's get on the watch list now, see what else we can find on our setup here. 3-month daily.
That's SHIP.
Let's start at the top, start with Amazon, work our way down. Wow, look at that pullback on Amazon. Good thing we didn't chase after that one. That one's going to continue to pull back with Bezos leaving the company, in my opinion. I think that's going to pull all the way back down to 2,000 bucks a share over the next few months. Once Bezos retires, I mean, I really think we're going to see at least a minimum pullback of 2,850. 2,850 might even come down to 2,500. After that, we'll be looking at 2,000.
Victor
so
India Romeo
we got
Charlie,
3 areas of support here. About 2,850 on Amazon, 2,500 going all the way back here to, you know, April, May, June, when we had the pandemic before taking off again. So we could definitely see a pullback down about 2,500 to 2,000, in my opinion there. Bank of America trade still on the climb, looking good, up 115 bucks on that, up 7%. Continuing to climb there. Let's continue to go on the watch list here. Baidu down 12% on Baidu for the day. And that one to me looks like she's going to have another major pullback here. So keep an eye on Baidu. She's still dropping there. Facebook 257.73. I mean, if you're asking me, Facebook looks ready to continue that pullback there. Let's see, what is this one? BABA continuing to pull back. 225 looks like the next support area for BABA. If you guys were interested in jumping into a day trade on BABA, you could definitely be searching for those puts and looking for, you know, this would be your target with some puts here. So target with some puts on this one here. Let's see what BABA's looking like. BABA down to about 225 support for the March 19th Expo. You know, that's, wow, they're quite expensive there. 245. Let's see, a 240 strike puts going for about 832. So 240 minus 8.32. So 231.68's break even minus 8.32. So 100% gain at around 223.36. So 223.36 if you wanted to pick up those 240 strike puts there. To me, they're quite expensive, but it does look like BABA and Baidu are in serious breakdown momentum. So I'd keep an eye on that.
Dropbox March 25 call sweep.
Bank of America is pulling back a little bit there from those highs.
Currently at 21.83. That's
okay,
Delta
with
Bravo
our
X-ray.
Expo, March 12th, 2 weeks out, over 2 weeks out. Disney pulled back from its highs. So you see the market's just continuing to pull back here from the highs. So don't go long anything just yet, especially for day trade. Let's see, DIA. And guys, let me just show you what we cleared here on that Bank of America trade. Okay, so that Bank of America trade, we cleared in the trade challenge account about a $855.39 profit on Bank of America there. So really nice gain there on Bank of America that we locked in, which was beautiful. Now we use those funds there. Remember, we use those profits, those funds, to fuel that next Bank of America trade for that March 12th 35 strike call. And you guys remember what we put in there? We put about $1,600 in. So $1,600. Now I want you guys to understand why I make the trades I make, okay? Because this is really important for account growth here. Okay, so there's the Bank of America trade we just made, right? And here was the Bank of America trade that we locked in. So we locked in $855.39. Well, guess what? If you multiply that by 2, it comes out to 1710.78, right? So 1710.78, if you multiply that by 2, well, guess what? So I put $1,600 trade into Bank of America right here. You guys see this Bank of America March 12th 35 strike call? We picked up 15 contracts in for about $1,600. Well, guess what? We made $855 on this first Bank of America trade. So even if we take a half loss here, a 50% loss, guess what? We still have $800 left in that trade, which means we're still up $55.39, even if we took a 50% max stop loss on this second Bank of America trade. So when you're making the trades, not only are you thinking of the current trades that you've locked in, the profits you locked in, but you have to think of your strategy and your game plan going forward to continue to grow that account, even when you have a little bit of a pullback there when the cycle changes. Okay, so it's really important. When you got a winner that's continuing to move like Bank of America in the financial industry, Delta, and all that, Disney,
TSLA, Tesla,
look for re-entry on a pullback or use those
EV
profits to fuel that next trade. And that's what you really have to do here as a trader. That's really important that some people fail to do. Take a look at Qs here, guys. Qs are pulling down quite heavily on the today 1 minute chart here. Big pullback on Qs. We could definitely look at taking some a day trade possibly on Qs. That's a big breakdown here, down about 3.34%. NASDAQ, Diamond's down pretty big. Let's take a look at Diamond here. We might get a little put here going forward. Let's see, 3-month daily. Starting to pull back there. I think we could pull back down to about the 50. So what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to pick up an option chain, and I'll get a nice little
structure again.
Trade for us on DIA. Let's take a look at SPY first.
Inside EVs.
Might do a little trade on that one. She's continuing to pull back there quite a bit. Let's see, Diamond ETF. Diamond is at, let me put that one up top here, DIA. 313.18. That she looks like she could definitely pull back to about 310. SPY down to about 379. 3 points, and that one there.
There's a Tesla now, off the lows at 626.
Okay, so it's really
67
up to what we
TSLA.
want to do here. 212.50, down about 0.71% here, or SPY. Let's see, expo date, we'll go with March 3rd. Quite expensive. Diamond, March 12th.
AMC shares
SPY's just
reversing off
continuing
the
to pull
highs.
back here.
Now
She's getting hammered.
$6.30.
So is Dow, Diamond ETF.
Shares down about 4%
Let's see
now
here. We
on
might do
Alpha Michael
nice
Charlie,
little
AMC
put.
Entertainment.
All right, I'm going to pick up the Diamond ETF for March 12th. Put. We could do
OBLG
February
halted
26th if we
On
want
a
to.
circuit breaker, Oscar Bravo Lima Golf.
Let's see, February
78 cents.
26th or March 5th might be a little bit better. 312. She's going for about 395. I'll pick up 2 contracts of this, guys, just to be in it. Let's see if we could get filled at about 3.90. Put 2 contracts. We should be able to. Let's see if we can get filled at 3.8. Okay, I have that order in. Order status. And there it is right there. Live order, Diamond, March 5th, 312 strike put. She's falling down again here, pulling back. Let's see if we can get filled at about 4.10. She's really pulling back here quite heavily. That's still a live order, still continuing to pull back there. Bank of America's holding up nicely there, but I want to get this Diamond put filled. And she is just taking off there. 4.3, let's see if we can get filled at 4.3. Still not
DWSN,
filling at
Dawson.
4.3.
Shares
Just
resuming
continuing
trade
to
now.
Pull back there. There we go. There we go. Finally completed, guys. 4.30. We only picked up 2 contracts. Remember.
To the
So we paid
lows.
4.3 times 2. It's an $860 trade on Diamond.
Shares hit a
Okay,
high
now
of
here's going to be
$8
our
earlier in the
target on
pre-market.
that Diamond put. Okay,
Delta Whiskey
let's
Sandy
take a
November.
look. So we just picked up. Let me get it up. Our Diamond put, Bank of America is only down 27 bucks. Diamond put's down about 10 bucks. So our Diamond put, we picked up the March 5th 312 strike put. We paid $4.30 for it. Now let's go over our target. All right, 3-month daily chart here. Our target's going to probably be about 370. Okay, we'll see if she drops below this 378. A drop below 378, we're absolutely going to be looking for adding to that. That's SPY right there. Let me put on Diamond. Just thinking that looked different there. All right, so our Diamond ETF, we're going to be looking for about 310 down to about 307, 308. That's going to be our target profit area. You guys see we got the first red candle below that 10. That's a big sign right there. Also notice what we have. The reason why we got into this Diamond is because we want a successful hedge against our longs, right? So take a look at this and take a look what's going on. So right now we got our first red candle. First candle below the 10-day simple moving average. Guess what else we have? We have the MACD starting to cross. So we have a check mark on the MACD and a check mark on the first candle below that 10. Okay, so we're entering a little prematurely here on the Diamond ETF, but I think with the big run we had, we're going to continue to see a little bit of a pullback. Our Bank of America trades back up about 17 bucks. Our Diamond puts down about 81 bucks. You know, so we're just going to keep watching that there. I like the setups that we have. You know, we're right at about $12,000 in the trade challenge account. We started at $2,500. That's looking great. Up about 400%, 500% there in the trade challenge account. Well, let's
Fed
see
Chair
what
Powell
we can do
coming up
here.
at 10 a.m. delivering testimony
Keys
on
are starting to
monetary
get right
policy
up to
on
that
Capitol
10,
Hill.
so is Diamond. So we're just going to watch the charts here for today. See if we see any good setups here. Let's see what else is moving. JP Morgan's back up nicely. Up 1% today on JP Morgan. Take a look at JPM. That one's up 0.98%. Bank of America's only up 0.58%.
Coming up
so I
at
think
10
Bank of
a.m.
America's
also.
going to continue to run today. I should be adding to that Bank of America trade.
Richmond Manufacturing
to be
Index
honest
for
with
February.
you. But financials are looking good. Delta down $1.45.
14.
A little bit of a pullback there. Disney down $2.25 after just being up about $3. So we're seeing some volatility along with this pullback here. So this is the time where you got to be patient, disciplined,
CB
sit
consumer
back,
confidence,
okay? Because we have
90 is
cycles
expected.
changing here, guys. Take a look at SPY. Here's SPY 3-month daily. Notice how we got the first candle below that 1020 SMA. You can't be going long here. If we take a bounce off this 50 like we did back here, notice how right here she bounced off that 50-day simple moving average. She bounced off the 50 and started that climb. So if we come down here and hold that 338 and then we start to climb again, that's where I'm going to be adding to some SPY or adding to some, you know, general market trades here that we'd make. You know, like some of our runners here, like Bank of America and all that. You know, but that's what we're looking for. We got to see. Right now, she could get right back up to this area right here from 382 all the way back up to here. But guess what? Even if she did get back up to there, she's still under that 20-day and 10-day simple moving average. So we got to be cautious and be careful. That's why we got that little hedge going out to the March 5th. And that's why we also have the longer-term calls for the Bank of America and whatnot. Delta, Disney, Bank of America here. So as those ones continue to climb there, you know, we'll be looking good and looking to add to them. But for the meantime, we got that short-term hedge against our longs, which is really important. Diamond's getting its first candle now above the 10-day simple moving average on a today 1-minute chart, which is totally fine there because Bank of America is continuing to climb too, and we're still holding above that 12,000, which that means that's a successful hedge there. As long as we're holding above 20,000, you know, Bank of America is going to climb. That Diamond put's going to pull back a little bit, but that hedge right there should keep us above that 12,000 mark. which is the whole goal of this, to maintain those profits and continue that account to rise. Let's take a look at Diamond ETF here so you guys can see. It's getting that first candle above the 1020. Well, first candle above the 10 there. See if she fills at that 20. Bank of America is looking nice, holding above that 10, 20-day simple moving average. Continuing to slowly climb there on Bank of America. Looking good here, guys. If you guys have any stocks you guys want us to take a look at, please comment either in the trade room on YouTube here. Where is our new member? Where is he? Johnny Gomez. Are you live with us? Come on in, baby. How was Sophie today?
Great.
Yeah.
I got this. We don't.
Her graduation? Yeah. Guys, see, Bank of America is still climbing, and you could see Diamond's taking off, and you can see how we're holding above that 12, even climbing
Richmond
on the account here,
Manufacturing
almost back
Index,
up to
14.
12.1. So it's really important to have those proper hedges on
Versus
those accounts there,
14
so you
in
don't have that
January.
retracement or pullback there. Really important.
CLSD resumes trading. Clear side. $91.3 on CB consumer confidence. The estimate was 90, 91.3 versus 90 on CB consumer confidence. TRUE, TrueCar, and GovX partner to launch new order buying program powered by TrueCar Military. That's Tango Romeo Uniform Echo, TrueCar.
Bank of America's climbing. Diamond's pulling back. Count's still climbing here. Now above 12,128. Looking good.
Health Canada approves Dupixent as first biologic treatment. First biologic for the treatment of moderate to severe atopic dermatitis in children aged 6 to 11. That's SNY and REGN. Fed's Powell says economy remains a long way from job and inflation goals. Says will likely take some time for Fed to achieve its job and inflation goals. Will keep rate target low until achievement of job and inflation goals. Bond buying
Let's put on
has
Charlie
given
here.
substantial support to the economy. Fed rate remains committed.
Nice
Using
breakout
all
on Bank
Tuesday,
of America,
recovery,
guys.
Economic recovery uneven and far from complete.
12,158.
Don't
There
underestimate
goes
the
Diamond
challenges
starting to
economy
climb.
faces. Powell says
Bank of
expects
America up
economy
$145
to
bucks.
improve
Look
later
at
this
Bank
year,
of
says
America
Fed will
goes here,
communicate
guys.
any change in policy
Take a
will
look at
actually shift.
BAC.
Says path of recovery continues to depend on course of the virus. Pace of vaccinations raises hopes for the economy.
Nice climb
Pace
there
of
on
labor
Bank of
market
America.
recovery has slowed.
Still higher on Bank of America
That's-
trade than we are on the Diamond puts lower.
Fed Chair
So that's a
Powell.
successful hedge right there. As long as we see Bank of America continue to climb. Now, if I see Diamond reverse here, take a look at Diamond ETF. If I see that climb in here, I could close out that Diamond trade and still be up 50 bucks between Diamond and Bank of America trade and up overall for the day here. So I'm going to be watching this, watching for that confirmation. If we start to climb there, I'll close out that Diamond hedge there, and we'd still be up even with that hedge that we have on between Bank of America being up 145 and the Dow put being down 120. So that's looking good there. But I want to take a look here, see if we fail at that 313 area on Diamond. If we do, hold on to that put. And I'm watching Bank of America here continue to climb.
BLBD, White Diamond Research is long BLBD. Bravo Lima Bravo
PLTR.
Delta.
Where is Johnny? I wanted to do something with Johnny today. He messaged me. Let's see. Dave, can we buy Tesla at this level? Ram, I would not buy Tesla at this level. Absolutely not. Would not be buying Tesla at this level. Not yet, anyway. Let's see.
There's Bluebird Corporation hit a high of 2267, now 2140 BLBD.
Diamond's failing at that 313, continuing to pull back on Diamond. PLTR, Planeteer's getting a nice little move there off the lows there. $2 climb off those lows. $2.50 climb off the lows there. 6-month daily chart still doesn't look good on PLTR. If you're chasing PLTR now, she's in breakdown momentum. Wouldn't be going long on that just yet. Let's see, Bank of America holding at that 10 right now, starting its climb. We're getting a big breakout on Amazon here. I was thinking about doing something with Amazon. Diamond's starting to climb there as well. Let's take a look at Amazon. But I mean, Amazon, again, on a 6-month daily, it looks absolutely horrible. Unless she holds right here at that 30, 90 area and starts to climb again. But like I said, that catalyst with that news, no way would I go anywhere near that. With Jeff Bezos stepping down, and a new CEO coming out. You haven't seen a pullback like that since that news. There's a big pullback there. Let's see. On YouTube here. Hello, Dave. How do you feel? I feel great. Carlos, thank you very much. Had some chemo yesterday. My BP was a little high, heart rate. They gave me something to relax me. I slept all day yesterday, and today I had a couple of coffees to wake up, so feeling good. Let's see, Quantum, what do you think of RTX? Let's take a look at RTX. RTX, it's really not doing anything. You got to really wait for that breakout above 75 to enter into that trade. She's coming up to some major resistance here, going all the way back a few months, all the way back to November. So for me, I want to be jumping in Raytheon until we got to move above 75. So you could simply, easily go up to your alerts here. Go down to your alerts and put in RTX here, Carlos. Is that Carlos or Quantum? Quantum. RTX, and you can say, okay, let me know when she gets a climb above 75 bucks a share. 75.10, so you don't get faked out of that, And you can put okay, and then there you go. Now you're going to get that alert as soon as she breaks 75, and no need to watch it or do anything with that for a while. All right, Diamond's starting to climb. Got that 1020 cross. I'm watching that closely there. If that continues to climb, I'm going to sell out of that Diamond trade. Bank of America is still climbing off those lows there from this morning, taking a nice move forward. Today, 1-minute chart on BAC. She's holding that 10-day, continuing to climb. And we're back up $140 on the Bank of America, and we're down $145 on the Diamond put. So still holding above that 12,000 at about $12,100 right now, with Bank of America continuing to climb. So that's a good hedge there, guys. Like I said, with this volatility, it's really important to be watching. Let's see, Avilio Skyjack says Facebook. What is Facebook doing? Haven't looked at Facebook in a bit. Nice breakout on Facebook, 1255 all the way up to 1263.
Report,
wow.
Air Force spokesperson says at this time the Pratt & Whitney military engineering team does not believe there to be any impact on the U.S. Air Force fleet from the recent Boeing 777 engine event.
Bank of America back to leading us up 160 down 150 on Diamond put.
Airlines
Successful
Boeing
hedge.
777 is not installed on
Close
any
out
US
that
Air
hedge there
Force
if
aircraft.
if Diamond breaks above that red 50 for today. That's looking pretty nice though on Facebook, guys. Those of you that are watching Facebook. Let's see. Victor Cuervo says, "Good morning, Dave. I like GE. What do you think?"
Engine designs are significantly
Let's take a look
different.
at GE. Man, we got into a GE trade. Ethan, remember that GE trade back when she had that big dump? What did we get in that GE trade for? I forget what it was. It might have even been a little bit further back. I don't remember, but that GE trade that we picked up a while ago is looking pretty good if you guys are still in that. GE, to me, I'd say at least an easy $15 target, but you have to get that like 3 months out plus. I'd preferably like 6 months out till Expo, but not too bad there. I'm watching Diamond. Let's see. Guys in the trade room, any questions, anything going on you guys want to take a look at? How about Elon Musk made $1 billion from his Bitcoin investment already? He just made that trade about 2 weeks ago. He's already up $1 billion. That's insane. I remember reading that. There we go. Bank of America having a big breakout, guys. We're now up 13% on a Bank of America trade. Up $212 on Bank of America. Looking good. We closed out Bank of America at the highs this morning at that 931 candle. We saw that pullback coming. We watched her hold that 50-day simple moving average on a today 1-minute chart. Let's bring up Bank of America here. I'm watching the other screens there. So Bank of America near the highs of the day right now. But this is what we did with Bank of America. We sold right here at that 931 candle this morning. We had that big pullback down to that red 50-day simple moving average. We started buying it, first candle above that 10 like we talked about. So at 9:39, let's see, what time did we enter? We have the order status right here. Tools, order status.
S&P Global says global oil demand
There goes
likely
Bank
to
of
rebound
America
to
again up
pre-COVID
$220
levels by the end of
So we were
2021
completed on the Bank
S&P
of America
Global.
trade at 9:40 a.m. So 9:40. Right here, we were filled on Bank of America. So confirmed candle above, we got filled, we were in it, and now she's continuing to take off here, and we're already up $220 on that second Bank of America trade, up 13%. We're down 185 on the Diamond ETF, but remember, we had about less than half of a trade on that because that was a hedge. So we're watching Diamond. It's getting right up to that 50-day simple moving average right now. Let me show you guys here. On the Diamond ETF, Bank of America is still looking beautiful. Diamond ETF today 1 minute, it's getting right up to that 50. Let's see what she does there at that 50. We're almost up to 12.2 now in the trade challenge account, which is a nice climb. We locked in that 855 this morning from the first Bank of America trade, and we're looking to lock in some more here. And we have the hedge on just with this increased volatility. You know, that's really important during these increased times of volatility. Really important there. Ryan McGovern, what are you stopped out at 50%? Let's see, sold as Delta, 50% loss. Then they go straight up. Let's see, what did you sell on Delta? Wow, Delta's climbing nicely there. Nice climb off the lows there, about $1.50, $1.75 climb off those lows.
Here, Romeo Echo Tango Oscar, RETO.
Bank of America right back down at that 10. Diamond ETF is squeezing between that 50 and 10-day simple moving average. Delta's looking good, holding on to that longer-term Delta trade there. Let's see. What is Disney doing here? Disney back in the green.
IZEA awarded multiple contract expansions from leading brands. That's India Zulu Echo Alpha, IZEA, IZEA. Shares of IZEA getting on top here.
Ephraim, that short-term trade on Delta was executed that I talked to you about. Let's see, the Delta, let's see, transactions. Let's see, filled. Let me see, where is it under? Transactions, orders, here we go. Okay, executed orders, apply filters. We were on of Delta, those 10 contracts out at $2.20 on Delta, and we had a profit of $770 on that Delta trade. Which that stock's going for much higher right now. It's much higher than 220. So if you didn't close that out yet, you still got really nice there. Guys, Bank of America, look at that trade there, Bank of America. We're almost up to 12,300 now in the trade challenge account. The Bank of America trade's now up over 17% there. Almost a $300 gain on Bank of America. Are you guys in that one? Nice hedge there. See how we're green for the day? The diamond put there down about 155.73, and our Bank of America's up about 172. So nice gains there, guys. Now Diamond's starting to pull back there a bit, failing at that 50 right now. So I'm just keeping an eye on that. Take a look at the Diamond ETF here. I know you guys, I got to start putting them down here so you guys can see. Diamond's failing right now at that 50, but she's still holding above that blue 20. So that's telling me this is an area of caution we got to watch here. So take a look. Area of caution here. This is the area we got to watch for right now. If she climbs and breaks out of that consolidation box, Diamond's going to have a run, and then we have to decide if we want to close out of that Diamond put there. And remember that Diamond put, it was a hedge. So what's the whole purpose of a hedge, guys? Is to protect ourselves from the downside, right? Well, if we're getting that stop at 313.50 out of that hedge, guess what? We're still up 265 bucks on Bank of America. We're still up $110 overall between the hedge and that long call there. So that's good. We're at 12.3 now, just about in the trade challenge account. So that was a successful hedge during that volatile time in the market, which is really important to be cautious with during that volatility. That's what's going to help you protect your account, protect your capital, and continue to move your account forward. That's extremely important during those pullbacks there and that volatility. Because look at Diamond on a 3-month daily. You guys think that's going to take another big run here? Well, she's got her first candle below that 10. That's a major sign there of a cycle change. So we got to keep an eye in there. But for right now, she's breaking above 313.48. So let's take a look at Diamond. If she starts breaking out there, I'll exit out of those Diamond puts and let those Bank of America
BOX box. Reuters says starboard value exploring board challenge against box that according to Reuters sources, BOX, Bravo Oscar X-ray.
Moments away from Fed Powell, guys. The target on Bank of America is going to be about $37 a share.
To be more frequently constrained by the lower bound. We've implemented our
CNBC
new
doesn't have
framework by
Powell on
forcefully
yet.
deploying our policy tools. As noted in our January policy statement, we expect that it will be appropriate to maintain the current accommodative target range of the federal funds rate until labor market conditions have reached levels consistent with the committee's assessment of maximum employment, and inflation has risen to 2% and is on track to moderately exceed 2% for some time. In addition, we will continue to increase our holdings of Treasury securities and agency mortgage-backed securities, at least at their current pace, until substantial further progress has been made toward our goals. These purchases and the associated increase in the Federal Reserve's balance sheet have materially eased financial conditions and are providing substantial support to the economy. The economy is a long way from our employment and inflation goals, and it is likely to take some time for substantial further progress to be achieved. We will continue to clearly
There goes
communicate
Bank of
our
America
assessment
on the
of
run
progress
again.
toward our goals well in advance of any change in the pace of purchases. Since the onset of the pandemic, the Federal Reserve has been taking actions to more directly support the flow of credit in the
BOX
economy,
now seeing
deploying
full
our
activity
emergency
in
lending
Box,
powers to an
BOX.
unprecedented extent, enabled in
March
large part
20
by
call
financial
sweep
backing and
on
support
Box,
from
BOX.
Guys, we're up $310 on
Although the
Bank of
CARES Act
America
facilities
right
are no
now.
longer
Nice
allowed,
climb there.
That's great.
no other facilities remain in place. We understand that our
Nice
actions
climb
affect
there. Almost
households,
nearing
businesses,
12.3 in the
and
TC
communities across the
account.
country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission. We're committed to using our full range of tools to support the economy and to help ensure that the recovery from this difficult period will be as robust as possible. Thank you. I'm happy to take your questions.
Thank you.
That Chair Powell says most
Powell.
important for economy
First,
now
just
is
a yes
vaccinating.
or no question. Do you agree the most important thing we can do for the economy right now is get people vaccinated?
I would say that yes, that is the single best policy to return the economy to.
CCIV took a hit, they said.
The
Let's see.
researchers in Minneapolis Fed say the pandemic is.
That was really brief, wasn't it, NASDAQ? I'm like, well, he's like, all right, we'll take some questions now. There goes Diamond ETF here, starting to climb. We're going to take a look. If she climbs any more there, I'm going to exit out of that Diamond put.
Children. The Biden Rescue Plan, as you know, provides the funding we need to get Americans vaccinated, as you suggest is the right policy. And that will help kids go back to school, to help working moms back to work, get back to work safely. What can the Fed do to make sure women, especially those with young children, can return to the workforce so that we don't end up with an even bigger lasting gender gap in the labor market?
So the tools that can really address specific groups, for example, women who've perhaps temporarily dropped out of the labor force, those are really fiscal policy tools. Obviously, those are not tools that we have. And I today will stay away from fiscal policy and really talk about what we can do. And I think the main thing that we can do is continue to support the economy, give it the support that it needs. We're still 10 million jobs below the level of payroll jobs before.
Want to
the
get out of
crisis.
that
There's
diamond.
still
There
a
we go.
long
We're out of the
way to go
diamond put there at
to full
335.
recovery, and we intend to
Starting to break out of there. I got out of that diamond put at 335. There goes Bank of America.
Thank you
Got a
for
nice
acknowledging
breakout
in
on
your
Bank
opening
of
statement
America
and
now.
your comments to many of us and your public comments, frankly, about how much we need to do.
That
to fight
diamond,
racism and
she was
inclusion.
breaking out of that consolidation.
know
Remember that
historically
consolidation we
the
were
Fed's
talking
monetary
about?
policy
She
has
broke out of that
benefited
consolidation.
lawmakers
We
for
exit out of that trade,
decades of
and now
discrimination
there
in
goes
the
Bank of
financial
America
system.
continuing to
Talked
climb
about earlier, from
302.04,
redlining to the
continuing to break higher.
subprime mortgage
Big
crisis,
breakout on Bank of
specifically
America,
targeted
guys.
black,
We should
brown, and
see
other
this. There we go,
vulnerable
$340
It's
gain
clear
now.
the Fed's
We're at
policy
over
and failure to
$12,300 now. Remember we
regulate
started the day with what,
predatory actions in the banking sector
12.6,
contributing to
11.6?
racial
We're up
wealth
what,
and
$700 here for the day
jobs.
right now.
You've said that the Fed's
$700
tools
gain on the day. We
address
close
the
out of that
underlying
diamond put there.
causes
There
of
goes Bank of
racial
America. We're up
injustice or income and
$407
wealth
now on
in
Bank of
our economy.
America.
I
We're
think
just
you
up
give a little
25% on that
reason
trade
to say
there.
that. So
Well above
how does the Fed- how can the Fed
12,326
use its
and looking good,
its
guys.
supervision authority to enforce anti-discrimination laws and fight racial
That trade
injustice
challenge
and
account, it's
inequality?
looking beautiful there.
We do have responsibilities and authorities for fair lending, for example, under a number of statutes, and we take those responsibilities very seriously.
I really think we're going to see that Bank of
carry-
America at
carry
that
them out
37 bucks.
robustly.
Let's see.
That
Mo
is an
says,
important
Dave, what do you
part
think
of
about
it.
CCL?
And
Oh, I don't even
so
want to look
is
at that,
something
do
we
I?
need to
Okay, she's down about 3%.
aggressively. In addition,
She had a nice climb yesterday, though. Wow, what a climb the past few days. We closed out of our CCL trade early. CCL looks really good there. I'm telling you guys right now, CCL looks pretty darn good. I should be jumping into some CCL for a swing trade here. Let's see what she's looking like for a little bit longer term, you know? Going into June.
I think we could do more, but we will discuss that.
Let's see, the June
Sure, Paul, a little
16th, June
pandemic bank
18th
regulators
monthly
have
expo,
loosened
25
capital
going for about
requirements for business banks,
490.
and one of its
That's
changes to
a
capital
big
rules
move there.
then stated
Let's
the
take a
rule was
look
meant,
at the
and I quote, "to
columns.
allow
Let's put on the
banking
delta
organizations
here
to
so we can
expand
see.
their balance
Because
sheets
I was thinking about
appropriately
taking
to
profits
continue
around
to
30
serve as
bucks. So if we had a delta
intermediaries
here
rather than
and we got a
allow
delta
banking
of
organizations to
0.60,
increase
that's
capital
really great
distribution.
there. So if we get a
Well, in other
$5
words, the
climb,
Fed
this is going to
reduced
increase
capital
by,
standards so
you know,
banks would lend
$6 here.
more,
So that's going to give
not
us
so
over
that they
100%
get
gain.
But it's-
I
as
like
you know,
that
it's
setup,
not
guys,
what's happening. The
on
biggest banks
CCL. I'm
have
going to make a
gotten
small
larger,
trade on
they've
it
got
right
more
now. Just one
profitable, but they
contract,
haven't increased
call.
spending.
And our
Dividends, however,
expiration is
remain
going to be that
steady.
June
My
8th.
question
Hell,
is,
let's go with
Joe,
July
you promised
16th.
to
That
the
might be a little
committee
bit
that
better,
you will
huh?
not extend any exemptions for capital requirements for
We'll go
banks
with
and
July.
bank
Let's see,
companies
25
that have
strike.
continued to pay
Going for
dividends
about
rather than
530.
invest in the
Let's
real
take a
economy.
look here. Make sure we got at least a 60 cent,
So we're
61
talking here
cent
really about the
on those
temporary
25
measures we
strikes.
took
So that's
with respect
beautiful
to
there.
the
I'd rather go
supplemental
with that.
leverage ratio. And,
Okay, I
those
might pick up
expire
2
at the end of March.
contracts
We
of
have
that.
not
That's
decided
looking
what to
good
do
there.
yet.
All right, we're in CCL now, guys. We got 2 contracts CCL, July 16, 25 strike call. We picked it up there for, let's see, average price $5.35.
We intervened to require the banks
And we're already
to
green on that
limit
there
their
as well.
dividend growth
We're almost at
to zero,
12,400
and
now
also
in the trade challenge
limit
count,
their-
guys.
their
Continuing to break
share
higher,
buybacks.
continuing
And
to
the
look
result
good.
of what you see now is
CCL.
a banking system that has higher capital than it did going into the pandemic, and particularly for the largest banks, and one where the banks have taken very large reserves against losses, and so have proven themselves pretty resilient.
Perhaps, but I also, we also understand that they have not been supporting the real economy to the degree that we hope they would, and we will continue that conversation. And I will send a written question to you on climate that we wanted to talk about. Senator Toomey.
PHCF,
Thank you,
also
Mr.
circuit
Chairman. Just
breaker,
on this
top
topic,
of the
let me just say
Foxtrot.
I certainly hope
PHCF.
that to the extent that banks have adequate capital for the circumstances that they face at any point in time, any capital beyond that should absolutely be available to be returned to the people who own those banks in the form of dividends or stock buybacks or whatever mechanism is suitable, and anything to the contrary is a terrible constraint on our economy and on economic freedom. I also want to just observe briefly, and I'm not asking for a comment on this, Chairman Powell, but if I could summarize and characterize your opening comments about the economy, I think it's fair to say that we have many areas, sectors of our economy that are performing
Love that
extremely
setup
well.
there, guys. We are looking good.
Housing is
Bank
a
of
good
America,
sector, I think you
CCL,
referred
I
to.
like those trades.
And then we have very concentrated problems in certain relatively narrow sectors like hospitality and travel and entertainment, which are extremely
Skyjack up
depressed because of
67% on what
I
Bank
think
of
that
America
clearly
trade?
makes a
The
very
old one that we
strong
sold
case
out of
that
this
if there
morning,
were to be
or a
further
new one?
fiscal policy, it should address where
Old
the
one,
problem
nice
is
job.
and not where the problem is not. But to address monetary policy for a moment or so, I think the Fed's current forecast for growth for this year is over 4%. I think the consensus is well over 5%, with some thinking it could be considerably higher than that. The unemployment rate is now at 6.3, is about where it was in 2014 when we were not contemplating multi-trillion-dollar bills. And I don't think we were buying $120 billion
VT
My
Therapeutics
concern
announcing
is
publication
that the last two
in
recessions
Diabetes Care
were,
results from
I think,
Simplicity
caused by
1
asset
study of
quality at
PT
first.
P399 in
2001
patients
stock
with
market,
type 1
2008
diabetes. That's Victor
credit
Tango.
market. In both
Victor
cases,
Tango,
in my view,
VTVT.
monetary policy contributed a great deal.
MGA,
to the
Magnus
formation
New
of those
Michigan plan to
bubbles.
support
The
fast-growing
Dallas
electric
Fed
vehicle
president,
market.
Robert Kaplan,
Michael Golf
recently
Alpha,
acknowledged that
MGA.
there's a link between the record amount of liquidity being pushed into the system
We are looking
and
good
these
here.
There's a
unprecedented asset
VTVT getting a
valuations
pump
that we're
here.
seeing.
VTV
Diamond's still
Therapeutics.
climbing there,
Holding
guys.
press
Luckily, we
release.
got a diamond following our
Victor
trade plan
Tango,
beautifully.
Victor Tango.
Real estate, commodities
MDA,
across the board, we're
Magna
seeing
shares
quite
ticked a bit
elevated
higher
asset
on that
prices and signs
press
of
release as
emerging
well.
demand.
Taos
So I guess
Fed
my question is,
Texas
do you
Services
believe that
Sector
there is
Index,
a link between the
5
liquidity
in
that the Fed
February
has been
versus
providing
-1.2 in
and some of
January.
these unprecedented asset prices?
Revenue index
So there's
2.6 in
certainly a
February
link.
versus
I would
0.8
say,
in
though, that,
January.
if you look at what the market is looking at, what markets are looking at, it's a reopening economy with vaccination, it's fiscal stimulus, it's highly accommodative monetary policy, it's savings accumulated on people's balance sheets, it's expectations of much higher corporate profits, which matters a lot for the equity market. So there are many factors that are contributing to to what's happening in markets right now. Monetary policy, I would certainly agree, is one of them.
Yeah, I would just suggest that, right, I agree, all of those things are happening. All of those indicators of growth and increasingly indicators of rising inflation. As you know, the TIPS 10-year break-even on inflation is now over 2%, up from 0.6%. My point is that at some point, we've
Fed
got too
Powell
much
says there is a
liquidity
link
going into
between
the
Fed
system.
liquidity and
The
asset
economy
prices.
is recovering
Little
very,
bit of a
very well.
pullback from the
Problems
highs
are
there.
isolated and should be addressed narrowly. And I hope that $120 billion a month of bond buying doesn't become a permanent situation. One of the things I'm concerned about, I wonder if you could comment on the risk that we would have an increase in inflation, an increase in bond yields that would correspond to that, but without being back at full employment. What is that? What would that imply? Which I think is a very plausible scenario for later this year. What does that imply for the?
Why don't you like Delta, Vilio?
Well, so what we said about the bond buying
Delta's
program is
definitely
that
the
it
much
will continue
stronger
at
stock
the
there.
current pace, at least at the current pace, until we make substantial further progress toward our goals. And we've also said
I
that
could see Save getting up to
as we
about 40 if
monitor
you're still in
that
Save.
progress, we'll communicate well in advance of any actual decision purchases. And so that's what it will take for us to begin to moderate the level of purchases. It's substantial further progress toward our goals, which we haven't really been making for the last 3 months.
Delta has a
but
much higher
expectations are
chance of reaching
that
60
will
than
pick up
Save, in my
as
opinion.
the pandemic subsides.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just
Save's
suggest
got to
that
go
there
to
are
40.
a lot of
So see,
warning
here's the
signs
1 year
that
on
have
Save.
not been,
1 year ago, she's at about
worsened in
40.
the past, but now are certainly
DAL
slightly
1 year
yellow.
ago, she's at about
With that, I will
60.
yield.
So much more potential on
JG
Delta
or
than
Mobil
Save.
getting
in my
up
opinion.
here. Juliet Goff,
Thank you, Chairman.
JG.
Looking
Chairman
good,
Powell,
still
at the,
climbing here.
end of this pandemic, we need to ensure that we have a more equal society.
I wish I got into
Unfortunately, we're not
Delta
on a
last
path to an
March.
Equal recovery. As of January, the black unemployment rate is 9.2%, the Hispanic unemployment rate is 8.6%.
Delta Save was at what, $8?
For white workers.
$10 back in
According to
March.
the New York Fed, over the course of the pandemic, the black labor force exit
Delta
rate
was at
has
about
increased
$20.
dramatically, while the white
There
labor
goes
force exit
Bank of
rate
America
has
on the
returned
climb again,
to
guys.
pre-pandemic
Let's see
levels.
CCL. You guys
Doesn't
finding
this mean
anything
that the
anything
black
good?
unemployment
Let's see.
rate is
Avilio
likely
said he bought Save at
misleadingly
14.
low
Nice job,
compared
Avilio.
to
You got
the
those
white
diamond hands there. $14.
Well,
Probably picked her up
this,
right around here, March
as you point out,
20th.
this pandemic
You
was
probably picked her up
particularly
right on March 24th, I bet.
bad for these
March
long-standing
24th or March
disparities that we have in
25th.
our
One of
economy.
those 2 days are when you picked
The
it
job
up.
losses were heavily concentrated
For sure.
in public-facing service sector
Unless
jobs.
you got it back
Those
here a
tend
little
to
bit.
be more skewed towards
But
lower paid.
first candle above the 10. I
many-
bet
in
that's
many
when you
cases,
picked it up.
minorities and women. And so that's really where the big
CCL was a good pickup back then, I bet,
So,
wasn't it? What a
you're
hell
right.
of a
So
pickup
the
on
burden really has
CCL back
fallen
then.
more in the low and moderate income communities than it would typically be the
Nice
case.
breakout
It's always
there.
the case to some extent. This particular
There
event,
goes
though,
Diamond breaking out
is,
again. Our
very
CCL trade,
somehow
Bank of America
precisely
trade are in the
aimed
green.
at those people
Having a
who
nice
were
climb there
well
once
aware.
again.
Well,
Let's see if we can get up to
appreciate
12.5
that
for today.
acknowledgement.
In
We
the
know
afternoon
from the
session,
Bureau
we're
of
going to be looking
Labor
for some day
Statistics
trades,
over the
guys,
course of
okay?
2020,
Really eager to
the
pick
labor
up some
force
day trades.
participation rate for black men and women fell nearly twice.
Want to make
as
some
much as
good
it did
profits,
for
get that
white
trade
men and
challenge
women.
account back up there
So you
to
agree that
15
minority
grand.
families are bearing the brunt of the damage caused by the pandemic?
Yeah, so along with others at the lower end of the income spectrum, bottom quartile.
Nice job, Avilio.
Would you
That's a
agree
nice
then
pickup
that
to buy
addressing
back
this
there in March and hold on to that.
disproportionate
It's tough to
damage
hold on
needs to
that
be
long.
priority
You know, about a
in
year
relief
holding on
efforts.
to it. But diamond hands paid
I
off,
would've
buddy.
thought
Good
so.
job.
Yeah. So would I. Now,
BAC
as part of the
still
Federal
climbing.
Reserve's mission to
Bank of
ensure
America near the
maximum
highs of the day
employment,
here, looking good.
what's the Federal Reserve's plan
CCL's
for
taking off. We're up
maximizing
1% on
employment for low-income
CCL,
and minority
23% on Bank of America. We are looking good,
so
guys.
we look, when we say
Looking good.
maximum employment is a broad and inclusive goal, that means we look not just at the headline numbers, we also look at different groups, and we try to take all of that into account in making our assessment. So we will take into account the headline numbers, but also those for other groups as we think about reaching maximum employment.
Well, I hope that at your mission that the Federal Reserve looks at this, because a Federal Reserve study showed that while high-income jobs mostly recovered to pre-pandemic levels, unemployment among low-wage workers remains 14% below pre-pandemic levels. And this is in spite of the fact that almost half of all low-wage workers are essential workers, the people who actually let us stay home when we were told stay home to avoid the spread of the pandemic and to be infected, but they were risking their lives in the jobs that they did. And so I believe we have the tools and what we to try to make this an equitable recovery. So would you commit to working with Congress and the Treasury to help low-wage workers and minority workers be able to recover just as strongly as others?
We will do that. I will say, though, that monetary policy as a tool is famously it's a broadly effective tool. It doesn't enable us to target particular groups. It lifts the entire economy. But we're going to be mindful, though, of the disparities that exist as we make our decisions.
And then finally, as of February 1st, an estimated 13 million adults were not caught up on their rent. Another 10 million adults were not caught up on their mortgage payments. Our country is very clearly in the midst of a housing crisis. What would be the effect on the housing market and our overall economy if Congress doesn't provide additional resources to help families struggling to pay their rent and mortgages?
Well, if those people, if it were to get to the point at which people were evicted, and you're talking about people's lives being disrupted in ways that are sometimes quite hard to recover from, both for renters and owners. So it is important. I think the single best thing we can do about that, of course, is to keep monetary policy accommodative, to do what we can to speed the recovery so that it will be robust and complete as soon as possible.
Well, millions of people losing their homes would not only affect rateable bases and the most single aspect of wealth. So I hope you'll keep your eye on that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Senator Shelby.
Good morning. Chairman Powell, thank you for your service of a number of years and how you, I believe, done an outstanding job as Chairman of the Federal Reserve. I would like to associate myself this morning with a lot of the questions that have been asked already by Senator Toomey. The concern of inflation, the concern of the balance sheet, where's the economy going when we get over this COVID, which we all hope and pray will be sooner than later. And I'd like to add to that, Mr.
Guys,
Chairman,
we are
what's your
nearing
view
30
of,
or
the
13,000
world economy tying
trade challenge.
into
There goes
our
Bank of
economy,
America.
an important factor as we go forward, assuming in the next, say, 6 months.
Up $800 for the day in the trade challenge account. Looking good. Bank of America starting to break that resistance area. Right at 35.85. I think we'll see
I'll
Bank
take
of
those,
America at
one at
about
a time.
36
On
by the end
inflation,
of today. There she goes again.
let
Another
me
nice
say that,
breakout.
we do expect that as the couple of things. One, first, as the very low readings of last March and April
Up
drop out of the
24%
12-month
on Bank of
calculations
America.
forward
Looking
this year,
good
we
there,
expect
guys.
Readings on inflation to move up. That's called base effects. That'll be a temporary effect. And
There she goes
it won't
again.
really
Another
signal
climb on
anything.
Bank of America.
More importantly, though, with all the factors we've been discussing, you could see spending pick up pretty substantially in the second half of the year. And that would be a good thing, of course, but it could also put upward pressure on prices. And I would just say that essentially,
Diamond ETF still
it's
climbing. Notice how we got out
it
of the
doesn't
Diamond
seem likely
ETF?
that would result
That break above
in very large
resistance? That was a
increases
good
or that
call.
they would be persistent.
Really
We've
good
all been
call we
living
did
in a
there.
world for a quarter of a century where all of the pressures were disinflationary.
FLMN,
Pushing downward on
Falcon
inflation. We
Minerals
average
getting
less than
up to
2%
the highs, what else?
inflation for more than
Riot down
37 cents,
21%.
Inflation dynamics do change over time. but they
Wow,
don't change
Darren,
over
remember
time.
we were talking
So
about
we don't
that?
really
Let
think
me
how-
lower this
see
guy,
how
this fool in the background
burst
here.
of
Alrighty,
fiscal
so
support or
remember this
spending,
pullback right here, Darren.
that doesn't last
I'm
for
not
many
sure if I'm
years,
saying your
would
name
actually
right.
change
Darren,
those inflation
Dayron.
dynamics. I will
I
also
don't know,
say
but we'll just go with
there's,
Darren. If it's wrong,
forecasters
correct
need to
me.
be humble and
But
have a
remember
great
on
deal
the
to be humble about,
18th of
frankly.
February, you
So
were in a
if we
big
turn- if it does turn
trade
out that
on
the
Riot, and I said,
unwanted inflation
Darren, remember with our
pressures,
trade plan,
arise and
first
they're
candle below the
persistent, then we have
previous
the tools
candle's
to deal with
body
that.
is a sign of a retracement, right?
Shall I
So
continue?
remember,
So
the
on
next
the
day
balance
she had a
sheet,
climb, and you're like, oh yeah,
we're gonna continue to-
she's climbing
we're at a
again.
stage
But
where
remember, look at the
with
body of
10
that
million
candle here, and
people,
this is what's important about the trade plan, guys.
payroll
And once you
employment's
guys
10
understand
million
this
below
trade
where it
plan,
was,
you guys are gonna be able to make much
before
more
the pandemic,
successful trades here.
we're a long
So
way from
notice this
maximum
body,
profit.
even though she had a
The balance
high,
sheet's gonna continue
that
to
still
supply-
didn't reach
to
the
provide
previous
the
day's
support
high
that
or
we
even the
think
all-time
economy
highs
needs.
there. Her
Over
body didn't
time,
get
it
above the
will-
previous day's
the
body.
growth of it will
That's telling me
slow.
there's more further signs of
that decision
retracement
is
coming.
the one
And
that-
notice
that-
what
that
happened
we
the
talked
following
about
days.
earlier,
She
where
just continued to pull
asset
back from
purchases will
80 bucks
continue
when I
to
told you
make
about that,
significant further
all the way
progress
down to
toward our
$50.
You
Actually
ask
down to
about the US
45
economy and
bucks
world
today at the
economy.
low.
I do think
So Darren, that's what I mean about
many
being
forecasters agree
disciplined
that once
enough
we get
to
this
follow
pandemic
that
under
trade plan. The
control,
trade plan's there to help you. Just
you
like
know,
Bank
we
of
could
America,
be
I have a
getting through
$37
this
target. You
more-
guys
much
know
more
too,
quickly than we had
me
feared,
personally,
and that would be
I made
terrific.
that
It's
trade
not
plan,
done
and
yet.
sometimes
The
I
job's
sell
not
early.
done.
You know,
That's
look
the
at
thing
Bank
I
of
keep
America,
coming back
guys.
to is
Big
we
breakout.
have
We're
to
up
finish the job.
$535 now on
Get
Bank
it
of
under
America,
control
up
so that the
32%.
US economy can really
$520
Other
gain.
countries
We're
around the
up to
world
almost
have the
13
same,
grand again.
the same
Look
set
at
of
that Bank of
issues.
America trade, that one
But
single trade,
there is-
31% gain.
People will get
And then plus
vaccinated
what we locked in
and
that
get the
first Bank of
disease
America
under control
trade of
properly.
$855. And remember, we
The
locked that
second
in at
half of this year,
931 this
after the
morning.
economy
We waited for that
could be very
pullback
good,
on
it could be
Bank of
good,
America.
elsewhere
We
in the world.
re-entered on that confirmed breakout, and now we're up another, 31% on the Bank of America trade of 415
Does that
bucks.
bode well down the
Beautiful
future,
setup
in the
there on
future
Bank of America.
Perhaps economic activity.
So a lot of that just is.
There
that
goes
people have
Carnival
have not
Cruise
been
Line
able to
taking
spend,
off
they
again,
haven't
but
been
that
able to
ride,
travel,
I'm
go to
telling you, that
restaurants.
ride looks
So
like
it's
she's going to pull
forced
back down to
savings
about
in a
40,
way.
maybe even 30 bucks there.
So
I think that short
they'll spend
squeeze
some of
and
that going
also
forward.
those,
You're really thinking, I think,
those pump and dumps,
about
they're
the fact
out of that now.
you know,
they're
the US
locking in
needs more
profits. I think
savings so
that's
that
going to
it'll have more
continue to
investment,
retrace.
more
And she
productivity.
could bounce
But
off
it
that
would be
10,
nice if we had
but
a higher
crypto's been
savings
taking a
rate.
hit. So as
It
long
would
as
be also
crypto
nice
takes
if
a
we
hit,
didn't
this
have
one's going to
a
take
lot
a
of
dump
federal-
with it.
A lot of dis savings at the federal level. That's a lot of it is that.
What'd you guys do? Did you guys do a Facebook trade or what? Everyone in the trade room's talking about Facebook.
That's something we need to turn to again, but I think.
Anyone
this is not
jump
the time
in?
to be Thinking about that, but that time.
She's
that
taking
time is
off
certainly
again
coming.
nicely there, nearing 265. And look at that. She
Thank
came
you.
down to 255 today.
Thank you, Senator.
That's
Thank
what
you,
I
Senator
try to
Test.
tell the new members.
Yeah, thank you, Mr.
You know, you
Chairman.
got to be
And
prepared
I
for that
wanna start by
volatility.
thanking
Because watch
Mr.
this.
Powell.
I'm going to show you guys something so
I very
damn
much
important right
appreciate
here.
your
I want to show you guys the
kindness, I very much
option of
appreciate
Facebook, what it was worth here,
your
a
fight
call.
to keep the
Let's
Fed
say you
independent.
jumped
I
in
know
that
it's been difficult
260 strike call,
the
right?
past number of years,
Let's see what it was
but
worth
you
at the
stepped
lows of
up,
the day
you
and at the
certainly
highs
don't
of the
want
day.
a bunch of
Because this is what's
politicians
important
determining
for you guys mentally
monetary
and
policy.
psychologically
So I'm
to have
glad
in your
you-
mind when you're trading options, because you're going to be seeing big
also
swings
think
here.
that,
So
we're
let's
gonna
see,
have a debate
Facebook,
over
watch
this
this.
$1.9
If I type in
trillion
Facebook,
package,
have the
in
February
front of you
26th
on
Expo,
probably every
and we
damn
pick up
committee
that 260
that
call.
I'm on.
First, I'm going to link
PSTH
this with link
Pershing.
2, and I'm going to
some
link
of
this
that,
other chart here
April
with link
32
2.
call sweep, currently at 28.
Let's see,
But-
link
but
for
I
the
do
top
wanna
Sandy
top-
All right,
Tango
now I'm going to
Hotel.
type in the
Everybody makes
260
points
strike
there. I go, yeah, that's a
call
good
on
point.
Facebook.
And
Okay,
it's
so
true.
here's this
Housing,
right
the
now.
housing
That's
market in
PSTH.
places
straight
like
call.
Montana is hotter
Notice
than
this
hot.
now.
It is quite frankly
Let me
booming,
make
and there's
this a
another
little
problem
smaller.
I want to talk to you a little bit
Okay,
about.
let me just get rid
the
of that
housing thing. But
RSI.
there are other
Okay,
industries,
so
and there
here
are
is
folks
9:30 this
out
morning,
there
right?
who,
Those
quite frankly,
260
don't
strike
have the job they
puts
used to have,
were
and
going
may
for
never
about
get that
$4.50,
job
right? You can
and
see
there
right
are
here
business
this morning.
people out there that
That's going
are
for
up
about
against it.
$4.75
Some of those
there on
businesses
that
will
candle,
never
right?
reopen.
So from
Others will.
475, she came all the way down
I
to
just kinda wanna get your
228.
perspective on
228
if
from
you were
475.
not
Then
the head of
guess
the
what?
Fed, but
She
in
went
the
from
United States
2.
Senate,
what do we
Where
say
would
here?
you pay most of your
230,
attention to?
235,
'Cause
all the
I
way up
agree.
to almost
The money we spend
750
needs
to
to be focused for
730.
ACU.
So that's a
October,
freaking
October,
200%
Where
climb
would
there,
your
just
focus
from
be?
Facebook lows to the highs there.
Per unit.
You know, so you got to be prepared for that volatility. That volatility for option traders, you know, so many people get into trades that a month out till Expo, and the next day they're down 30%, and they go, "Oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? I'm down 20%." That's normal for options, guys. You guys have seen a lot of our trades that have pulled back and then have only taken off
CPB
to
Campbell
make us some nice
Validate
gains
press
there.
release.
Now look at Diamond ETF.
regarding
Diamond's
their
breaking out
response to
nicely now. We're
COVID-19.
going to continue to see a climb in the markets here.
That's Charlie
Diamond's
Bravo.
climbing, Q's are climbing. You know, our trades are looking beautiful here.
So let me be more specific.
You know,
It
really
amounts
nice
to
looking on all
investing
of our
in
trades
people,
that are
and
set
that
up
means
right now.
education
Says
and
But again, like
hiring
Facebook,
to
like I
increase
said there,
demand.
that's what's important.
But
Those
that
lows from
enables
here,
those
these
people
lows to
to
those
take
highs.
part fully
That's
in
a
our
what
great
did I say?
economy.
200%
I really
gain
do
right
think in
there.
a global economy,
So you got to be
that people who are
understanding
able
that,
to
you
use
know,
and benefit
during
from
volatile
technology,
times in
there's
the
no limit
market,
on the
you're going to
amount of
see
those
those
people
big
who can be
fluctuations
working.
in those
Campbell's,
option premiums.
because it's such
And
a
that's what's
liquidity
really
factor.
important
I
to
also think
differentiate,
it's
you know, a
important,
good trade versus a bad trade there if you're day
for
trading.
About
businesses,
0.5%.
You got to be
that's
prepared
CPB.
for that
have a
breakout.
climate where they can
Or that
where they can
breakdown.
trust,
Now, Diamond
you know,
ETF,
that
let me show you
inflation's
guys
gonna be
this.
under
We got out of the
control,
Diamond
business
Hedge
conditions
before,
are gonna be good.
had great timing.
They
Why?
can
Because
invest
she
in it.
broke out of that
I
consolidation
think the federal
way
government
back here
is
that we were
investing
talking
in
about at
basic science
313.50.
SNS,
She broke out right here. This is when we
Sandy
exited out of that
Or
trade,
Johnson,
right here.
I think
Literally right here at
focusing on things like that,
1023.
Here,
longer run
SNS,
differences
1023, and then we've been
Yeah,
holding
high
that 20 and
533
continuing to
in the
climb off of that.
pre-market.
Markets are breaking off now.
Now I wanna
Now
go
that
to
Jay
housing,
Powell is
because I
getting
don't-
off
you
the
know, I
air
talk
here,
about
Now it's
and as
Montana.
Jay Powell gets off the air,
That's
markets are
SNS.
continuing to climb here.
Workforce housing. I think that,
So
short-term
looking
and
good.
long-term,
I like
by
the
way, this
setup
is
we're
gonna be a
seeing,
drag on
guys.
the economy. Do you see the Fed playing
CCL's
any
taking a nice
role,
climb there too. You
or
know,
do
we're
you
getting a
think
nice
they could
breakout
have a
here, team.
role in increasing
We're almost at
the amount of
12.5 now
housing
in the
that's
trade
out
challenge
there?
account,
And if
up
you do
almost
think the Fed
$900
plays a
for the
role,
day
what would
since
that
where
role
we
be?
exited yesterday.
I don't
where
really
we
think
were,
we do. You know,
you know,
when it comes to a
where the day closed
set of
yesterday.
policies
So
like
looking
that,
really
that's
good here.
targeting, you know, the fiscal power of the federal government to what is seen as a worthy cause. It's not really something we can do. We can combat housing discrimination.
Let's
and
see.
things
Thomas
like that
said
in
he
lending,
picked up some
but I don't
Trivago
think we are in a position to be able
TRVG.
to
Is that
allocate
Trivago or is
credit
that
to
something else there?
worthy
TRVG. Never
beneficiaries.
traded it, but it
CIB,
sounds like
Churchill.
Trivago.
Okay.
Capital
Looking
getting
good
up
there.
back to the
Trivago,
fundamental.
$4.30.
That's Charlie
You
Charlie
implemented
India
That's a
Victor.
nice setup there for the long term. That is a heck of a nice long-term trade there.
VUZI, Vuzix.
Who was that brought that up?
24
Thomas.
weeks on VUZI.
If I was
Maybe
giving
you're
out some
gonna do
freebies today, you'd be the winner of the freebie. That's a heck of a nice chart on Trivago. I see that getting up to $10
I think
plus.
the difference really
Easy
this time is the
$10
fiscal
plus.
policy has
This
has
is one of
really
those
come to
stocks
the
you want to
table.
get a leap for. Let's
Okay.
see if we can find any
Moving
leaps on
forward, have you
Trivago.
looked at any changes to
And
that?
that really is a really
to the
beautiful
policies,
setup
the
there.
monetary policies,
Love is
monetary
taking off.
policies.
Southwest Airlines up
Moving
5% for the day.
Not yet.
Disney's
I mean,
back
we're
up
looking
$3
into
for
that.
the
Of
day,
course, we'll
guys.
do-
What a breakout on
right now,
Disney.
focus is on
I was
providing the
down
economy
quite
the
a bit in
support
the
it needs.
regular account there on those
Returning
lows when
to an
Delta and
evaluation of
Disney
everything
pulled
that
back.
happened
I
in
was
the
down about
crisis
2
and
grand. Now I'm
also
back in the green in the main account there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right,
Chairman Powell.
TRVG. Let's see if we see any good leaps on this. No leaps. Only October.
Thanks, Senator Tester. Senator
We could
Scott.
pick up the July there though.
Thank you, Chairman Brown,
$4.50, $5.
and thank you, Chair
It's
Powell,
quite
for being
expensive
here with
there.
us this morning.
Really expensive,
certainly an
unless we want to
important
go
time for
in
us
the
to
money and
engage in
get
the
that
conversation
250
about the
strike.
future of
That's
employment
going
in
for
our
about
nation.
235.
One
So
of the
break
core
even's
responsibilities
235
of the Fed,
plus
of course, has to do with
250.
unemployment.
So 50 plus
There
40
seems
is
to be
90.
so
At
few
490
issues
we
right
break
now,
even.
Chairman Powell, that
You know, and
actually
add another
unites the
250
left
to that,
and
we
the
have
right.
100%
I'm always
return. But
stunned
to be
in
honest with you,
Washington when we find
that looks
something
like one that I
unites
just
both
pick up
sides,
some
and frankly,
shares of and hold
the
those
minimum
shares
wage
long term
issue
there.
is an issue that
I
has
wouldn't mind picking
united
up
both
1,000
Republicans
shares
and
of Trivago
Democrats,
there.
on opposing having the $15 minimum wage as a part
That's
of
a
the
really
COVID-19
nice
relief
setup.
package. It's good to see my friends on the left coming to the conclusion that in the middle of a pandemic that, according to the Congressional Budget Office, has already shuttered the $15 minimum
What
wage
I
was
can can do as
another
well, pick up,
1.4 million
you know,
jobs
pick
that
up,
earlier
let's see,
estimate went as high
1,000
as
shares of this,
3.7 million
and then
jobs
sell to
in the middle of
open
a
10
pandemic
contracts of the
eliminated
5 strike or the
10.7 million
750
jobs.
strike. If I sell
This
10
seems to
contracts
be
of the
common sense from
750,
my
you know,
perspective,
I'm
from
making
the
about
perspective of
100% return with the
Democrats and
stock only at
Congressional Budget Office.
750.
My question
from the
for you,
increase in
sir,
share
is,
price plus
has
selling to
the
open those
Fed
covered calls there.
economists
That's
conducted
over
research
a
on
that's
the
over
potential
100% gain
impacts
there,
of
about
raising the minimum
110%
wage
gain. If I
to
bought the
$15
shares,
an hour?
1,000 of them now, for about a $4,282 trade, and then sold to open those 750 strikes. But I'd wait until she breaks above 5 to sell to open those
Yes, sir.
750s. To be honest with you.
Are there conclusions?
But
similar to
Thomas,
the
that was a really
conclusions of
nice
the
setup there.
Congressional-
That's going
the
to be one I'm going to be
Congressional
keeping an
Budget
eye on. And
Office
please
as it
make sure you
relates to
continue to
the
bring that one up
negative
throughout the
impact of
coming
raising
days,
the
okay?
minimum wage
That's one that we could
during the
definitely
pandemic?
profit from nicely.
Let me say, as I must, that this is a classic
setup
issue
there, buddy.
that the Fed never takes a position on, and I'm not going to take a position on it here today. It's fiscal policy. Most of the research still says that there's some trade-off between job loss and those whose wages go up. But
Wow,
actually,
Ryan, what the heck happened to your account there,
sort of
Ryan?
unanimity of that finding of 30 or 40 years ago is no longer in place. There's a much more nuanced understanding of it. But in any case, it's just an issue where we don't play a role or express a view. But I can share with you the research that we've done. Be happy to do that.
That would be
That our staff has done.
that would be very important, especially as you think of the Fed's responsibility as it relates to providing a sustainable economy that includes keeping unemployment as low as possible. The fact that the
TWTR,
Fed
Twitter,
isn't
Bloomberg
taking a
reported
position
Twitter
on
sued
an
over
increase
FTC
of the
probe
minimum wage
after
that is
hack of
obviously,
Obama and
according to
JP
the
Morgan
budget
still
office,
going,
going
says
to
Captain
eliminate the
Thomas.
minimum of 1.4
Let's see,
million jobs.
JPM.
I think is an important engagement from the Fed on that issue.
JP Morgan's breaking out
a different
nicely at
question as it relates to
1.7% there for the day.
COVID relief package of
1.72. What's Bank of America up
It seems
about?
to me that over the last fiscal year,
1.93.
it's been
Twitter
right around
ticking lower.
6.5
So JP
trillion
Morgan's
dollars
actually
addressing
lagging
the
compared to Bank of
pandemic.
America
My
there,
question
but
for you is, as we see another 1.9 trillion
Bank of
dollars on
America
top of the
is looking
6.5 that we've
beautifully.
already spent,
really want to see that hit that
what is the
37.
impact on the issue
She's
of
getting right up to
rising
resistance now, but I
inflation
think she's going
in
to break
excess of
out,
the
continue for
Fed's
that
long-
37.
longer
I mean, this
run
is when we were
objective
trading it
of
way back in
2%.
2016, and we seen that bull flag.
So
and I was
of
telling
course,
members, once we
as I said
broke
at the
out of
beginning,
that
I'm not
flag,
gonna
that's going to be an
comment
area to
today
buy, and we
on
did,
the,
and we profited
proposal that
hugely
you mentioned,
in
the fiscal
2017
package
going
that
into
we mentioned at all.
2018 with that.
Not
If
our
you
role.
guys that were with me
I
back
will
then
say,
remember that.
on inflation, there perhaps once was
Looking good
a
on
strong
the trades
connection
here.
between budget deficits
Probably
and
might see a
inflation.
little bit of a
There
pullback
really
going into the
hasn't
lunch
been
hour here,
lately.
but
that doesn't mean it won't
definitely,
turn, but again, my expectation will be that inflation will probably be a bit volatile over the next year or so, due in a significant amount to particular things to do with the pandemic. For example, we'll see a slight increase in inflation in a few months because of the base effects
guys,
that I mentioned.
so the
We'll also
safest
see
way to grow
perhaps,
your
we don't
account
know
is
this,
with
but
Leaps
we
right
may
now,
see upward
especially with
pressure
that
on prices
recovery.
as the economy fully reopens. A good problem to have. I don't think that those effects
something
should
at
either be
least
large
3
or
to 4
persistent.
months out
And
to
the
that
real
stuff.
reason for that
TRXC
is
Remember,
transactions
just
announcing
about a
name
week
change
ago, we were at
is
all-time
surgical.
highs here
Introducing
at about,
new categories
well, we got up
such
to a
as
high of
performance guided
17.1,
guide,
you know,
very
from the
volatile
close, and then the next day she came
years.
right back down to
Inflation has just
15.
kind of
So
done what it was
we're
about.
about
It didn't go up.
$4,000
sir. I
off
appreciate
the
your-
highs here in
your
this
answer.
account. That was just
The
from
fact
last
that
week.
you're,
With options,
unwilling
like
and
I said,
unable
it's
to
very
answer the
volatile.
questions as it
Notice the
relates to
cash I
minimum
have in
wage,
this
and certainly
account
you
here.
don't wanna get into the
Cash
politics
on the
of the $1.9
sidelines is
trillion
over
package.
9,000.
I
We
don't
only
blame
got
you.
about
If I were you,
3,000
I wouldn't wanna
invested
get
right
into the
now at the
politics
time.
of it all,
You know,
of it
most
at
of
all,
that
frankly.
right here is
And I
just in
certainly
Bank of
understand
America
your
and CCL. These
reticence
other
to
ones are
do so.
worthless right
I'll
here.
use my few
So you
seconds
got to
here
see
simply say that
how it's important to
Congressional
have
Budget
that
Office,
cash on that sideline.
some
That way,
Democrats,
even if I got
all
wiped out of all my
Republicans,
trades
all
here,
agree
I'm still
that
starting with
raising the minimum
$9,143.
wage is a way
And remember,
to
we started this
destroy
trade
jobs
challenge account with
in an
$2,500.
economy that is
So
looking forward to
9143,
Thank you, Chair Brown.
9143, divide that by 2,500.
Thanks, Senator
We're
Scott.
still up
Senator Warner.
366% on the year in that trade challenge account, even if we took a total loss right now in all of our trades. So that's what's important. We keep it at least half of that cash in the sidelines right there. It's super important. I'm telling you this from experience. You know, when I first started trading, I lost over $300,000 trading. 300 grand within a year and a half. I changed strategies. I started trading options instead of day trading shares because I'll be honest with you, I was looking for those big gains. You know, $3,000-$4,000 days. I couldn't find that with trading shares.
AMD
Yeah, so you
based
started trading
devices that
options. You
TV
started having a
revising
plan, discipline, and you start getting
credit
somewhere
rating
there.
to triple B.
Broadband investments fall into
GoDaddy's
that
starting to climb now.
category
Let's see
Fine.
what
Double
GDaddy's doing
long-term
here.
structural change
GDDY.
we need. I would argue over the last 11 months we've
Credit
seen
watch
that broadband
positive.
is a necessity.
TRXC,
I think it is
Transcentrics,
absolutely
Newly,
COVID
She's
Symbol
holding that
is
80, but
I
not
hope
doing
that
anything
ASXC,
really on the daily chart
Alpha
there.
Sandy X-ray
change to
Charlie.
actually
Diamond's
include
still
a
breaking out
sizable
there.
investment in broadband. It's as good as
CCO.
four packages, bipartisan
Looking
packages
okay,
have been
not
to
too
date.
bad there, climbing off
The
that
broadband
20.
investment has been
Bank of
meager,
America.
non-existent.
I wanted to pick up that BP
Expert-
before.
experts
What's
like
that
Tom
BP
Wheeler
doing?
and
Remember we
said
looked at that
somewhere in the
first thing
$40
this
to $50
morning?
billion range, we can
Ma,
get
she had a
about
big climb
97%
from that
coverage
drop this
along
morning
with
from,
better
what,
affordability.
23 all the way up, a dollar climb
So I
there.
guess I'm asking,
Almost a
would you
5%
agree that
climb from
immediate
those
efforts to
lows.
change the
JWS,
broadband
George
tax
Acquisition.
Now watch
not
this. I'm
only
going to show you this one because this one's less volatile. So this one, the
Juliet Alpha,
IV is a
Whiskey
little less
Sandy.
here. So watch this now. If you picked up that
As you and I have discussed on a number of occasions, I
24
would agree
strike
that
call at,
broadband is kind of a
let's say,
classic
let's say
21st century
realistically at
infrastructure.
952 when
and
she
one
had
of
that
those
first
things
candle above that
can
10 right
support
there,
growth,
right?
but I of
So
course
at
can't go anywhere near-
952,
don't want to go
let's
anywhere
say we
near
picked up
the
that
question of what should
24
be included
strike.
in the package. If that's okay.
952,
What about,
24 strike.
the question though, from a
So
macro
at 952,
standpoint,
that strike was going for
Thesis,
21
shares
cents a
getting another
contract.
pop here.
broadband and
Sandy
where she
November
got up
Sandy
to
Sandy on
60.
volume.
if we're
You know,
going
that's a
to have
200% gain right there
still some
alone, just in
recovery
BP.
across all
Day trading
socioeconomic
those
groups.
intradays
Could you speak
with
to
the
the
trade
question
plan. Your
of
exit
necessity
obviously
for
right here.
broadband,
First candle below
be
1020 at
ubiquitous
1030.
if we're going to have
So at
that
1030
kind
here,
of
where's
robust
1030
recovery?
at?
And, comments about
1030,
whether
you're out
broadband
at
is
about 49 and a half
nice
cents.
to have,
SEV,
You're in
or
at
holding
21, out
seven
at
shares
49 there.
35, priced at $10 per unit. That's
No,
all.
so again, as you and I have
Sandy,
discussed
Echo,
on a number of
Victor,
occasions, I would
Uniform.
agree that it is a classic piece of infrastructure for the modern economy, for the service economy, for the technologically
starting to
advanced
climb there
economy,
again.
and having it broadly available.
Not
just
too much
would
else going on here. We're going
broadly
into the
available
lunch
as
hour
possible
now,
is-
so we're
is
probably going to
some-
get off
could be
right now.
significant benefit.
It's just coming to
Economic.
11 o'clock, and I really think that we're going to,
are we going to be able to see the kind of
I really think we're going to find some good day trades in the
broad-based
afternoon here we'll be looking at.
recovery that I think we're all looking
And continuing to grow the trade challenge
Well, I
account
think
and the
we
main
have
account
longer-
here. We'll look for some day
a
trades
bunch
in
of issues
the
to deal
trade
with,
challenge account here
that
since we
relate
got
to,
some cash saved
these
up there
persistent disparities
and some
that we see
purchasing
to do
power.
with
So
education
that's what we'll be looking for.
training and all those things, but that would certainly be one of those things.
Senator Scott, in his previous line of questioning, raised the inflation issues, and I know we've seen about a 41 basis point increase on.
You got the
some
best
of
thing to
our
do is have
bench-
one account
10-year
for
benchmarks
actively
is
trading
still
and the other account for
relatively,
long-term
really
trades.
small. I
You know, that
tend
way you
to
don't
agree. I think
become
we do need to make
impatient or,
sizable
you know, you
investment
don't
right
lose your
now. I'm not
discipline.
sure
That's
the,
what I do.
Inflation risks, I agree with you, are not as high as potentially might be. Could you just briefly give?
Alrighty, guys,
some of the
that's
tools
going
you've
to
got
do it for the
available
morning
as
session here
several
for
folks
us. We'll
here
be
are
live again
starting
at
to
2.
see,
We'll be looking for some day trades. If you guys
inflation
need
rise
any
at a
help,
level
please
that
let
you
us
feel
know,
comfortable with.
and we'd be happy to help you out.
Well, those are the classic
Thank you,
tools
Jack.
that we
Hope
have.
everyone has a good one. Ryan, if you need help, please message me. I'd be glad
Again,
to
I
do
really
a
do
class
not
with you
expect
guys. All you guys
that
that
we'll
are
be in a
new here, or
situation
even
where
those of you that aren't
inflation
new,
rises
if you
to
guys want a
troubling
refresher
levels.
class with these
At
newbies,
this point, the
I'd be
committee,
glad to do it.
Federal
Just let me know.
Market Committee is seeking inflation
Alrighty, guys.
running
Have a
moderately
great
above
day.
2%
Stay
for
safe,
some
and
time.
I will see you guys soon. Island time.
So the real
Alrighty,
question
let's
is,
see
as
who
we
else
go
wants to
through
do
this
that
opening,
class.
we
Maybe we
find
could set
ourselves in a
something up here for
situation where
Thursday.
Inflation expectations
That way, you guys
are
could be ready for
de-anchored.
Day Trade Friday.
Inflation is moving up and is persistent. And I think we're all very, acquainted with the history of how we got into that situation in the 1970s.
Will, tell them how you're doing now
Did that in
since
the
you've
1960s,
joined
and
us, Will.
we have no
So they get
intention of
that
repeating
motivation
that.
there,
So
because I got a message from Will.
central
He was
banks
doing
and
pretty
the Fed
good there.
learned how to keep the
CM,
centrality of keeping inflation
IIU,
under
Charlie
control. We know
Michael,
how to do
India,
it,
India
and that's
Uniform,
just by
CM Life Sciences,
not,
2 shares opening
allowing the
at
economy to
Will's live with us
$11.75,
here.
priced at
ignore
$10
constraints over time.
per unit.
I think this
That's
is not
Charlie
a problem
Michael,
for this,
India
for
Uniform.
this time as near as I can figure. And if it does turn out to be, then we do have the tools we need.
We're down to my last 20 seconds, and let me just. You want to make some general comments? I
Tiarca
would argue
says
that the
JP
pandemic
Morgan
was the
has a
first
great
major
chart. It is a nice chart
real-world
there.
stress tests we've had on our
That
fiscal
and Bank
system.
of America.
Powell
The
said do not
financials look
expect
great.
inflation
One
will rise
chart
to
looks
troubling
good.
levels.
All the financials look good.
Recognizing, Mr. Chairman, that'll be my last question. He's obviously, you
Looking
may want to
good
take that
there.
one for the record, but if you want to make some general.
Alrighty, guys. I will see you guys.
You
in the
meant financial
afternoon.
system, I
Hope
think,
everyone
right?
has a great day.
Yeah.
And if you need anything,
Well,
please
I
let me
think
know.
the large
Alrighty,
financial
take care, guys.
institutions
God
that are
bless.
at this,
I'll
at
see
the
you in the
heart of our
afternoon.
financial system proved resilient.